Oodalale. Welcome back to the live stream. I'm Rob. Join the conversation. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. We go over the news. We comment on it. You know, things happen in the world. And maybe you were aware. Maybe you keep up with the current events of the day. And maybe you don't. And if you don't, this is a great place to get a couple of hits. Plop, plop. I felt like Ali G. Remember the Sacha Baron Cohen character, Ali G? Where what did he do? He used to do some. He did some hip hop thing. Bladder, big it up. He did something Chet Hanks-esque. Ali G was Chet Hanks before Chet Hanks was Chet Hanks. But what I was saying is, if you don't keep up with the news, don't worry about it. You hit the notification bell, I go live, I go, here's a couple of big stories from today. Here's something unique. Like when I shared with you that they created woolly mice on their way, this BlackRock-esque corporation who's essentially now going to pay lower taxes than you, on their way to reinventing the woolly mammoth. They had successfully genetically modified mice to become woolly mice. So stuff like that, you know, obscure news. Maybe I'm just vlogging for the day, okay? Lay off. Why is it always got to be news? But I'll keep you up with the most pressing things in our times. Toxic Caleb, hello. Good to see you. Hopefully you're not truly toxic, and that's just a name. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Less taxes is better. For who? Taxes, just so you know, maybe they stopped teaching, maybe they never taught about taxes, just so we're all on the same page. Taxes help our communities. Callum Klimzawski. That sounds like a Monsters, Inc. name. Callum Klimzawski. Have you seen Callum Klimzawski? He's the best monster out there. Sorry, that your name just reminded me of a Monsters, Inc. character. That's amazing. I'm going to take your name and brand it onto a Monsters University monster. What would that monster look like? He would hold his eyeballs like real monsters above his head. You are saying my name wrong. I'm sorry. Could you pronounce it for me? Enrique Pinto. What's going on, Enrique? I like that name too. I like the names. Drop your name in the comments below in the live stream chat. And let's fight it out for who's got the best name. My name is a verb, so you know. For everyone, less taxes help the economy grow. More people have more money to spend. Oh. Okay. Number one, taxes are good for our country, okay? Taxes go to things that, I don't know, most of the time people want. Fire department, roads without potholes, helping programs to help less fortunate people. They go to many, many different things, but those are just some of them. When you cut taxes for corporations, now Toxic Caleb, with a name like Caleb, I'm going to say you did not come through the 80s. There was not one person named Caleb in the 80s. So I would imagine you were born around 2006. You're just getting your feet wet. You heard some good manosphere stuff like drop our tax rate and everybody becomes successful. Well, that's just the new trickle-down economics. And what they say is like, yeah, you got to cut taxes and we have more money. What they don't tell you is they're not cutting your taxes, dodo. You're about to go extinct with that kind of thinking. They're cutting taxes for, well, let's just look at the numbers. I put this down below. Link down below. If you're new here, I always try to link what I plan to discuss. And Trump's last tax cut, which this is what they were trying to pass. They're trying to keep this permanent. before and after Trump tax law for 16 prominent corporations. This is from the ITEP, Institute for Taxation and Economic Policy. Now, if you see here before, Verizon had a 21% effective tax rate. After Trump's taxes went into effect, they paid 8%. Down here, way down in the bottom, sorry. If you see, well, FedEx paid 18% before, 1% after. Walt Disney, right here, sorry. Walt Disney, a cajillion-dollar company. We haven't even came up with the number yet. That's how much money they make every year. They went from 26 to 8%. They are paying less taxes than you, okay? And why? Well, because people said, we need a businessman running things. Well, business people only care about profits. That's the only reason businesses apostrophe after the S exist. For all you grammar Nazis, you're going to get mad at me for that one. It's before the S. I know, I was fucking with you. Well, shouldn't it be ES anyways? Yeah, so you're wrong. No apostrophe. Businesses, ES, multiple, plurals. So just so you know, not for everyone. If they lessed the tax on workers, that'd be great. What I say is tax wealth, not work. But they're not doing that, okay? And I just wanted to show you here in numbers what the tax rate went to. Look at Target. Target, gajillion-dollar company, 34%. Now they pay 16%. And that's what, when J.D. Vance went on Theo Vaughn's podcast, which I would imagine was like Born Last Night with Theo Vaughn. Is that what it's called? I don't know. I don't listen to it. But Born Last Night with Theo Vaughn. Is that his late show? That would be a great late show. Theo Vaughn, you should do a late show on TV called Born Last Night with Theo Vaughn. And when he was like, what about this tax bill, brah? And J.D. Vance was like, we're trying to stop the biggest tax increase ever. Well, this is what they were talking about. They cut taxes in 2017, and they were just trying to keep them permanent. By the way, hold on, where is it? Here it is. For everybody who's bragging about the tax cuts on tips, they were like, yeah, they threw us a peanut. Just so you know, the tax cut for the billionaires and the corporations are permanent. This is a permanent tax cut. Those tax cuts on tips are expiring in 2028. So there's your peanuts, folks. You got your peanuts, but you can only keep them until 2028. No tax on tips for, oh, I didn't even see that. Look, no tax on tips or overtime for the working class. Toxic. Here we go. We're going to dispel all your MAGA hype points. You're a MAGA hype man. Don't worry, bro. No tax on tips. Who gives a shit? Tips, we shouldn't even have, if they really cared about working class people, they would just raise the wages. They would say no more tipped workers in America. If your business has to rely on people patronizing it and them not even buying the whatever you're doing there, whatever service you're providing, but not just them buying it, but if your business has to rely on them also giving tips to pay your consumer, like not just, usually a business operates like when you go to Walmart, you like buy something, they make profit and they pay people through what they make. This tipped work thing is so effed because it's like they could go spend money at your establishment and you don't even have to pay your employee. You pay them, what, $2.65? You're hoping that the customer will also pay your employee for you, which FDR said, if that's how your business operates, it shouldn't run here in America. If you have to work, if your business has to operate on exploiting people, then you should not be in business here in America. But so, hey, what's up, CJ? Good to see you. So Toxic Caleb is just a MAGA hype man. And he's regurgitating all the bullet points. And I called it before he even said it. He said, no tax on tips or overtimes for the working class. I said, if they really cared about the working class, they would just get rid of the tipped wage. They would just make everybody at the minimum wage and raise the minimum wage. And my point is in this bill, the tax cuts for Target and Disney are permanent. The tax cuts on tips are for 3 years. So, BS. And I shared a link down below. This is a great article from ITEP, Institute in Taxation and Economic Policy. And this came out in May of 2024, and they looked at Trump's last tax cut. And it said the effective tax rates for corporations fell from 22 to an average of 12%. Okay? We got 240 billion less in taxes than if they had continued to pay what they had paid before Trump. Now, corporations were not losing any money. Their profits were rising, inflation, but their federal tax bills dropped by 16%. Now, I encourage you to read this, because if you're championing this BS bill that's going through, you're either in Dave Chappelle's tax bracket, or you've been lied to, you've been duped. And that's okay if you've been duped, but we got to dispel some of those myths, okay? We really need to. Unless you're the 1%, you're not going to see much of a tax break. Thank you. But the key findings, and again, I linked this down below, are very interesting. And what I was showing you guys before, look at this. Hold on real quick. Look at the sky today. Look at that. I'm going to try to make that an oil painting. So beautiful. It looks like an oil painting. I had to take a picture when I was in the parking lot. I was like, that sky's too beautiful. I can't let it escape. But this is what you saw. So your taxes might go up even, depending on your tax bracket. You know, if you're not making over 400K a year, your taxes might go up. And people are on Medicaid and all that are going to get kicked off. I mean, this is so sad. But look at this. Some of the biggest companies. Walt Disney, 26 to 8%. They're getting a permanent tax cut. They'll pay 8. Look at that. FedEx, 1%. 1%. I mean, do you want to pay more taxes than AT&T, $1 billion company? Meta, 18%. Intel, Comcast, Walt Disney, Visa, Lockheed Martin, Capital One. I pay more taxes than all of these companies. And that's not good for the economy. We should be getting taxes from them. They use our roads more. They use our services more. They use our police, fire departments, trash. They use our people more. And then they rely on the government. And this is why they love this bill, because then they rely on the government to make people get Medicaid, Medicare from them. And now the government's going to take it away and put stricter working requirements in, which is going to force people to work at these companies that are making tons of profit, 44% more profit over the past few years, and getting more of a tax break. So when your roads are crappy, when the police, when the fire department don't come on time, when the post office is crap, when all these services that we get from taxes, when, you know, if you have kids with disability, if you are a Medicaid recipient, all these things, when they get worse, it's because the people who are I don't even want to say exploiting the most out of our system are paying the least. And that's not right. Never mind what you care, what your political party. Again, Toxic Caleb, I know from your name. At this point, I understand you're just trolling, but I'm just going to address it. You weren't around in the 80s because your name is Caleb. But that is the old trick. More people will hire if they have less taxes. They won't. The trickle down never came into effect. Okay? I hate when people say that because it's a bold-faced lie. Because they got a tax break and they're not creating more jobs. They're not creating better paying jobs. In fact, just from 2020 till now, if you haven't got over a 25% raise, your money is worth much less. So, and that's because companies are deciding to raise prices. And you'll see, I mean, time will tell. We saw, I have the proof right here. They're not paying people better. There's housing crises. There's inequality. Jeff Bezos isn't, not renting out Venice for his wedding. Yup, shareholders and billionaires and stakeholders. The other thing I wanted to point out is I talked about Bob Villain the other day in the live stream. If you don't know, Bob Villain, Donald Taco revoked, his State Department revoked their visa. They were going to start their tour in Oregon too. And this is a punk rap group duo. They're amazing. I would highly suggest downloading and listening to their stuff. I've been streaming it all day. And I said the one good thing that came out of Bob Villain's visa getting revoked is that they were put on my radar, and I could finally find. I mean, my genre is whatever they are, punk rock, anti-capitalist, whatever this genre is. There should be a new genre, the Rage Against the Machine genre, whatever that is. I love it all day long. Kneecap, Rage, Bob Villain. And they got put on my radar. And then I start seeing tweets like this. Bob Villain's Spotify listenership has grown by 100,000 in 72 hours. Amazing. Hello, Franz. Love that name. Franz Ferdinand, the Archduke, World War I. Is that who you're named after? Is that your granddaddy? If it can't take satire, you should not run for office. Yeah. If you can't take a joke, if in your press conferences you say, that is not a very nice question, I like him because he only says nice things to me, then you shouldn't go into politics. You really, should try to hold your breath for as long as you can, because nice questions, when you're running a country, you can't expect everyone to ask nice questions. What a baby. What a baby. 1A all day. Oh, CJ, you're reminded me. So there's Paramount settled their lawsuit today with Don Taco. And Paramount, if you don't know, Don Taco was sensitive, sued Paramount for $16 million. And they would have won this if they had gone to court. But another corporate master bends the knee because Trump gave him a permanent tax rate. So permanent tax cut, so they'll now forever make way more than 16 million, and there's these tax cuts. But he said over the editing they did in a 60 Minutes program, if you followed along at all, the producer of 60 Minutes, I think, left, and he said this is no longer like a free press. This is now bending the knee to a king, tyrannical overseers. And Paramount settled their suit today. They didn't have to. Lawyers are saying they could have won this First Amendment lawsuit against the White House and Don Taco, who's a very sensitive man. But I think they did it to show their allegiance, which sucks. And I just wanted to point out that Rupert Murdoch, when Fox was sued for pushing lies about the 2020 election, Rupert Murdoch has come out. There's that old fart. All these foreigners come and meddle in our elections. He's from Australia. Elon Musk from South Africa. None of them are American. Not born here. Elon's an illegal immigrant. They F with our country. And morons, maroons, as my mom used to say, support these people. They support them under the guise of America first. It's that dude's South African. He doesn't give a shit about you. But Rupert Murdoch even admitted, hey, when the Fox News stars were lying, he could have stepped in. I mean, he owns Fox News Entertainment. He owns, so many media outlets. And in this article, I think I linked it down below. If not, look it up. NPR. Just look up Rupert Murdoch chose not to stop Fox from spreading lies, known lies. In this article, he's yeah, I could have stepped in and said, stop spreading these false claims, just stop. And he's and I chose not to. So that just tells you there's real malicious intent with these big mass media outlets, the lamestream media, as it's been dubbed. So I thought that was interesting. Have a great education day, Franz. Learn bigly. Education day. Ooh, I go to school. Goodbye. Oh, goodbye. Come on, school's amazing. Ask many questions. Many questions about everything. Question everything. So yeah, CJ, you brought that up, and I wanted to bring this up because I thought, man, it's a sad state we're living in, but it's run by corporations. A bad business guy, a failed casino owner is in the White House, and of course he's giving breaks to if you think he's working for you, you're sorely mistaken. You must think your boss really cares about you. And if so, ask him to pay a living wage. See what he says. See how much he cares then. He'll tell you it's called show business, not show friends, and he'll kick you to the curb. Life is learning the whole time. The whole time. Just had a conversation with my daughter about that. Gotta learn. She said, not now, Dad. And I said, every time. Every moment is a learning opportunity. Okay, guys. CJ, good to see you. Much love. Please and go and read about this article that I'm sharing this stuff with you. Because this is what the tax cuts, these were the tax cuts in 2017. This is what this bill is passing, permanent tax cuts. So it means our infrastructure is going to get shittier and shittier. Corporations that are exploiting our country for their profits for shareholders and a small select group of people are going to make more and more money. They're not going to create better jobs. Target's not going to start paying $30 an hour. Walmart's not. Disney's not. You're not going to see these people be like, wow, finally I could buy a house with a college degree or not a college degree. Finally I can work 40 hours and survive and go on vacation. You're not going to see that. And this is the proof right here that they've got a tax break in 2017. This is just continuing it. And what, from 2017 till now, have you said things have gotten better? I don't think so. But, oh, Toxic Caleb, you're I'm going to put you in timeout for 10 minutes because you're lying. You're lying. Okay. So you're lying, and you're either lying maliciously, which means your intent is to try and confuse people and to propagate the corporate propaganda, or you're too dumb, which I don't know which is worse, No, I'd say the malicious is worse. Malicious. So just shut up. That's what I'm going to tell you. Just shut up. There we go. Okay, guys. So please go check this out. Hey, Solus, what's up? Just got here at the end. Solus, let's play some Fortnite. Let's live stream Fortnite if you got time this weekend. Or let me know. Hit me up in the Discord. I live streamed Fortnite last week. I got to get Bandito on here. But yeah, so if you want to see how things are going to go the next 10 years, we can look at the past 10 years. If you believe learning from history is a good indicator of the past, well, this big, beautiful bill that just makes a permanent tax cut for corporations, well, it started in 2017. And from 2017 till now, we've seen wealth inequality get worse, a housing crisis, wage crisis. Unions have been fighting for stuff, but we just haven't seen the economy do as well as it could have done. And now they're putting this into a permanent tax cut, while the way they're paying for that is taking from the most vulnerable, the poorest in our society. And some people champion that because they think, well, it's not me, it couldn't happen to me. And those people are shit weasels. So don't be one of those shit weasels and care about your community. Don't say, well, I'm fine. Who gives a fuck if a 5-year-old down the street starves, every night for dinner? Because that makes you a shit weasel, and we don't like those. I know MAGA doesn't care, I know they don't. But we're trying to be better. We want it to be better for the kids, not worse. And it's getting worse. And it's going to get worse. So check out this ITEP info I linked down below. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Much love. Solus, good to see you. I hope everything's going well. I hope your job editing is going good. I hope your resume is getting built up. And CJ, much love, much respect.